Hello, Facebook world. Nancy Ray Allen here. Joining me today, I have the lovely Miss Stella. Say hi. I love it because it's like good cop, bad cop, right? All right, so we have an important topic to cover today that is central and the foundation for creating a happy, successful life. And when I talk about success, when I talk about happiness, I'm talking about the nourishing kind of happiness, the kind of happiness that isn't like eating a Twinkie, where it's this like temporary satisfaction, but it doesn't create any long-term like consistency in the feeling of yumminess in your life. So welcome everybody. Hey, Deanna. Hey, Leah, Robin, Jackie, welcome everyone. So this conversation is really important to be having because there is a ton of shit going on the planet that could be avoided. And I want to get really deep in talking about like the central core issue that is creating all of this and what the power is that can change it immediately. So we're seeing a rise in suicides. You guys have heard me talking about this. We're seeing a rise in diagnoses for mental illness. And there's a lot of different theories out there about why this goes on. Certainly the food that we're eating is impacting, the environment is impacting our mood and our chemistry. Like all of these things certainly play into it. And there is a core fundamental power that is the most powerful thing on the planet that we have access to that is not being talked about in the way it really could be. And I think it would be fantastic if this information and education would be taught to our kids in our schools, in our elementary school systems, because the way the planet has been set up before this, and I'm going to get into why this is, I want to talk to you guys about the power that can actually eliminate and eradicate fear and anxiety. There is a power that is capable of doing this. And yet, when we no longer have our fears, we can no longer be manipulated by them. And this is actually like the man's, right? They talk about like the man or they, like this exterior force that's like suppressing people and whatever. Like it's not the government. We don't know what it is, like the they people, okay? It's scary for them. Their biggest fear is losing control of the masses, of consciousness. They want to have the control of consciousness. And when we eliminate our fears and our anxieties, they no longer have anything to play on. So I'm going to explain how this works in a little bit now that we've got everyone joining us here. Hey, Stacy. Hey, Paul. Hey, Tyler. Be sure to tag people below and share this out, and let's get this conversation filled up because this is critically important. In our schools today, what we are taught in general is a system of reward and punishment based behavior, right? That's how behavior gets modified. That's how they like try to teach kids to learn and grow, is like by grades and punishment and reward and all of these things. And what oftentimes happens in a culture that's all about like high achievement and going out there and making money and hitting goals and getting an education, all these things, is when someone feels sad or bad, they begin to associate that feeling to what is outside of them, right? I feel bad because Johnny doesn't think I'm cute. I feel bad because I got a C. I feel bad because of this. And so then immediately the solution becomes something outside of us, right? If only you worked harder, got better grades, you know, had a better relationship, your boyfriend liked you more, or you weren't single, whatever, then you would be happy, right? And the truth is, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. That doesn't control whether you're happy or not. Because I remember being in school and getting an A on a paper. Okay, maybe not an A. Maybe I got a B+ on a paper, and I was mortified. And there would be someone sitting next to me that got a B- that was like, yeah, like so excited and celebrating it and happy. And my B+ like ruined my day, right? I'm having like this horrible, crappy day, like, oh my God, nah. And this person got a B minus and they're like so happy. Like they can't even like handle it, how happy they are, right? So what is it then? Is it this external thing that's going to create or dictate or control whether we're happy or not? That's the thing, is we're not teaching, like, where are people learning how to use their mind, their psychology? It's crazy pants. Like, even people here right now watching this video, some of you think, like, I will be happy once I lose weight, once I make more money in my business, once I heal my marriage or get married or whatever it is. And that's not true. That is not what makes you happy. The power is right here. It's in the way that you are interpreting your experiences. The dialogue, the inner dialogue you have. I got a B minus, and the inner dialogue was, I failed, I'm not good enough, like I had this crazy standard. They got a B minus, and their perspective was like, last time I got a C, I'm getting better, look at this is amazing. This is why you can have people having the exact same experience and it create two totally different outcomes. I've been talking about this on Masterminds these last 2 days. We've had this amazing theme, which is what inspired me to jump on here and share this with all of you. I have a client that experienced some trauma throughout their life. Most of us have. Welcome to the planet where people are like wounded, so they go out and like spread the woundedness, and they're all triggered and they're all in their shit, so they do crazy stuff and they yell at their kids or they abuse people or they rape people. Like, yuck, okay? Like, there is this stuff on the planet. We take on trauma through our experience. And some of the trauma that she experienced was years and years and years ago, like over 10 years ago. And yet it still eats her every day. And I use an example. I had a pretty intense experience almost 8 years ago now with an ex-boyfriend, and there was like a gun, and I had to move and relocate, and there was like all this creepy, crazy, threatening, like police involvement, crazy stuff, crazy stuff. And I asked her the difference on our call, and I want to ask it to you, the difference between someone who could go through the same experience I did and still 10 years or 8 years later be terrified to walk to their car at night, you know, be afraid of dating, you know, whatever, and take on this trauma, and someone that moves through it in a way that it empowers them versus disempowers them. They harness that experience, they learn what they learn through it, and they don't allow it to consume and obsess them. They don't become obsessed with it. People are like, well, how do I change that? How do I change that? And the example I used today on the call was, it's like somebody sitting there stuffing their face with cake, and they're like, how do I stop? And it's like, you grab your hand and you hold it on the table. Like, there's no easy way to stop. When you have a habit and a program of thinking of life in a certain way where you're a victim or it's not fair or whatever the story is, when you have that, it is intense. It is intense to reprogram the way you think. So instead of automatically assuming the worst, you automatically start seeing solution. This is what people don't understand, you guys, that you have the power to change it. And I'm not saying you can go like this and overnight eradicate your depression or your anxiety or whatever it is. It is a process, because guess what? It didn't come to you overnight. It was years and years of conditioning from your environment, from the big people in your life, from your genetics that have created the levels and the patterns of thought that you have. Does chemistry come into play? Yes, but it plays a way smaller role than this power you have here. So many people play a bitch to their chemistry. I'm like, that's a small, like, this eternal, limitless, powerful creator, and you're telling me it's like subject to chemicals, hormones? And those things are real. The baby blues, like, they're legitimate chemical, like, imbalances. That is legitimate. But what I'm wanting you to hear is so much of this could be eradicated. So much if we would teach our kids how to think. How to not obsessively think about it, how to reframe the situation, how to get clear on why they're upset. Another example that happened, I had an amazing client that he I gotta be careful because I like really, the privacy is super important, but I want to use the illustration of the story. So in this story, this man, his wife, had like all this guilt around drinking wine. And he was looking for her one day and was like, where is she? Where is she? Where is she? And he found her on the side of the house by the garage drinking a glass of wine, like hiding from him. And he immediately found himself like angry and upset and triggered and all this stuff. Now, when we talk about it in his mind, it's making it about the behavior and how the behavior is wrong and bad and like deceitful and all these things. But what's crazy is when I heard this story, I laughed. I chuckled to myself. I thought it was funny. Well, why do I think it's funny? Well, because the way I'm choosing to think about it, the way I'm framing it, the story that I have about it, right? And for this individual, when they saw their wife doing this, he immediately thought, she doesn't love me enough to trust me to be herself. She feels like she has to hide who she is. If she's hiding this, what else is she hiding? And second of all, he had a son that started doing this, hiding certain behaviors, which eventually led to him doing hard drugs, and he was currently in jail for it. Now, when I tell you that backstory, you're like, oh, wow, it makes total sense why seeing that behavior in his wife would trigger those feelings. But again, it's not her fault. It's his story, it's his trigger, it's his emotion, it's his dialogue about what she is doing that is creating emotion in him. This is where we really get to in a position of owning 100% our emotions, our experience. We are the source of our experience. If you're experiencing something you don't like, you're feeling stressed, you're feeling negative, you're feeling tired, guarantee you we could dig in and identify the thought patterns, paradigms, and stories that you are rehearsing over and over again that are creating that for you. So what if we could, instead of teaching kids like, oh, well, you don't feel happy? Well, go out for basketball, and you don't feel happy you didn't start? Well, work harder at practice. That's teaching them that their happiness is always existing outside of them and dependent and determined upon other people's choices and decisions, like whether they're going to start them or play them in the game, whether they're going to bench them, whether they're going to break up with them, marry them, divorce them, whether they, get the promotion at work. That's outside of their control. And again, in my programs, we get deeper into law of attraction. Everything truly is an outpouring and a reflection in the mirror of what you're creating internally. And there are certain things like the weather. It's no different. And explaining this to little kids, explain this to ourselves. Look, if you say, I am only happy when the sun is shining brightly and easy to see and there's no clouds, then you wake up in the morning and you open your front door and you go, let's see, is it going to be a good day or a bad day? Oh, well, it's going to be a shitty day because it's shitty weather. Where is that? And it's like saying, you know what, I'm going to be I'm going to really love myself when everyone outside of me is loving and accepting me too. That's not supportive. That's not true. That's not true. And we have a society right now that is so centered upon this idea of external validation, external achievement, creating an internal reward. And it does not work that way. It does not work that way. And some people are like, well, if I get really comfortable and appreciative for where I'm at now, maybe I'll never want to achieve anything. So they try to beat themselves into submission, right? Like in weight loss. Well, if I just really, really hate my body overweight and I just beat myself up and I make it yucky and bad and then I'll lose the weight. No, that's the most unhealthy way to do it. You love yourself into change. And I want you to hear me in this. You have the power. You have the power. And it's what you choose to think. What are you choosing to think in every given moment? This is the very unsexy truth of transformation, the micro to micro, moment to moment integration of the truth that you are the source of your experience. You are the creator of your life. And we can, together, as we educate, inform, and empower people, eradicate suicide. I've never met somebody that was like, you know what? I like this so good. I love myself so much. I'm just so grateful for the beautiful world I get to be a part of and experience. And I'm going to kill myself tonight. Fuck no. Nobody does that. This is what it is. The dialogue. I hate myself. Nobody likes me. People would be better off without me. Why am I even on the planet? I'm never going to get over this. I'm such a freak. Why do I care so much? Why is it so emotional for me? Why can't I just be happy? Why can't I just be successful? Why do I keep sabotaging? Why do people keep breaking up with me? Why am I always alone? Blah, 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 blah. It's cancer of the brain, the mind, the heart. And we can kill it. We can murder that shit. And it starts by each of us individually owning our experience as the source and the creator of it and getting our dialogue in check, watching the way we talk to ourselves. Love yourself. And I was saying this on our call today, and I get to jump off here in a minute, but I just really wanted to share this with all of you. I want you to love yourself. You know when they say love is blind? I want you to be so in love with yourself that you are blind. Blind to your faults. Not that you don't see them or recognize them, but you just love yourself so much. And I use this example. When my daughter was a baby, I thought she was like the most adorable thing ever. And I look back on pictures and, maybe she, wasn't the cutest baby ever. But at the time and in the moment, I was so infatuated with how adorable and cute she was. And this is what we do with babies. They can puke all over themselves, literally be drooling on themselves. And it's so cute. Like, we just love them and it's adorable. And we're like, let me wipe up your face for you. What if you could love yourself that much that when you drool or when you throw up or when you, have an explosion in your diaper, and I'm using this as a metaphor, obviously, you can just say, I love myself. I'm adorable. I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring it out. I've never been this age before in this body at this time in this place with these relationships, with this growth opportunity. I've never done it before. It's my first time. Give yourself permission to be a beginner. Everything you're doing right now is new to you. Everything. I don't care if you think you're reliving the same pattern over and over again. Every day is a new day, new opportunity. There's new conditions on every single day. No moment repeats itself. Give yourself permission to be a beginner. Give yourself permission to suck. But it's so critically important, you guys, that we begin to educate people about the power of their mind and their ability to choose what they're going to focus upon and most importantly, how they're going to interpret the experiences of their life. How are you interpreting it? Are you interpreting it that it's happening to you and it's a tragedy, it's a catastrophe and you're a victim? Or are you interpreting it like it's a gift and there's this beautiful hidden message in what you're doing and you don't know what it is? People, if you frame your story like, I took this detour and I was really going to be much further ahead than where I am now. How supportive is that? Like, does that make you feel good and excited? Does that totally tap you into divine intuition and solution orientation and all of that? No, it makes you feel like shit. It closes you down. It shuts you down. It gives tunnel vision. If you want to open up and see possibilities, if you want to open up and receive abundance, if you want to open up and get solutions and ideas and be creative and brainstorm, you get to shift your energy. And that starts by changing the way you are interpreting, seeing your experiences. Period. End of discussion. I love you guys so much. And this is important. We each have been given this amazing gift of this life, this brain, this heart, this soul, this body, this amazing energy system. It is the most important thing to master. The most important thing. I have people right now as clients who are like, where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? And I'm like, okay, well, where are your boundaries? Where's your self-love? Where's your dialogue? If your dialogue sucks, they're like, I don't know what my intuition is saying. You can't hear intuition. You're so busy hating yourself and criticizing yourself and seeing everything in your life as this big tragedy and this big trauma and drama and it's horrible and it sucks and why me? You guys, these things get to shift and get aligned for you to receive the intuition, to call in the abundance into your life and experience. And there is no greater work. I would love to see all the parents on the planet stop investing in hoverboards this Christmas and invest in getting their minds straightened out so they can teach their kids how to align your thoughts with what you want so that you can feel good in the planet. What happens is everyone keeps applying these temporary Band-Aid fixes. Let's just go on a vacation or buy Christmas gifts or, get a face lifty thingy mabob and fake boobs or whatever and think it's going to make you feel better. Those are the Twinkies of life, guys. That's toxic nourishment. It fills your stomach for half a second, but it doesn't give you any long-term health and wealth and abundance. We get to have like a reality check here, people. Tis the season. Tis the season. And it's time for you to turn or to look in the mirror and to give yourself the greatest gift, which is a completely and totally liberated heart and mind, where your joy, your satisfaction is not dependent upon how many gifts you have under the tree this year, how big your house is, how big your Christmas bonus is, what your siblings do or do not say to you at your Christmas dinner, whatever. It's not dependent on that. That you could literally live out the worst case scenario of your life, where you're totally alone and totally broke off your ass, and you see that you could still love yourself completely and unconditionally, and you could still appreciate your life and find joy in getting to live. Truly living, you guys, is the rarest thing on the planet. So many people have their head down trying to make themselves happy that they don't stop and just fucking be happy. It's right here. It's all around you. And you are the solution. There is no greater gift. There is no greater mission than to learn to master this beautiful system of energy you've been given here on the planet and truly become the source and the creator of your experience. Knowing that what goes on in here determines how you see, experience, and attract the life out here. Truly no nobler cause. Because as you do that and you activate that clarity and that mastery here, you liberate other people. They see you, they feel it, they learn by example. 'Tis the season. I love you all so much. Be sure to share this out, tag people below, and we will be in touch soon.